More than half a century ago, a challenge ignited that would change history. Two superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union, were locked in fierce competition. But this was no ordinary rivalry. It was the space race, a contest not only for technology, but for pride, power, and the future of mankind. In 1957, the Soviet Union shocked the world by launching Sputnik 1. It was the first artificial satellite to orbit Earth. Just a month later, Sputnik 2 carried a living creature, a dog, named Laika. These triumphs sent ripples of fear across America. If the Soviets could launch satellites into space, could they also launch missiles across continents? The urgency was clear. America had to respond. In 1958, the United States launched Explorer 1, its first successful satellite. That same year, President Dwight D. Eisenhower created NASA, the new space agency. NASA became the heart of America's dream, to lead humanity beyond Earth. But the Soviets continued to win victory after victory. In 1961, Yuri Gagarin became the first human in space. For America, this was another wake-up call. Just weeks later, President John F. Kennedy made history. He declared that America would land on the moon before the decade's end. His words lit a fire in the hearts of millions. The moon became America's new destiny. NASA began with the Mercury program, sending Alan Shepard into space in 1961. Then came Gemini, where astronauts learned to walk in space and dock spacecraft. Each mission was a stepping stone, building toward one incredible goal, the moon. Then came the Apollo program, the boldest undertaking in space history. In 1967, tragedy struck. A fire during a test claimed the lives of Gus Grissom, Ed White, and Roger B. Chaffee. The nation mourned, but the program pressed on. Their sacrifice became a symbol of the risks of exploration. By 1969, after years of testing and innovation, Apollo 11 was ready. The Saturn V rocket, the most powerful ever built, stood waiting at Kennedy Space Center. On July 16th, Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins blasted off. They carried the hopes of an entire nation with them. 4 days later, Armstrong and Aldrin descended toward the lunar surface. Their spacecraft, Eagle, touched down in the Sea of Tranquility. On July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong stepped onto the moon. He spoke the words that would echo through history. One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. For the first time in history, humans stood on another world. The stars and stripes were planted firmly into lunar soil. Apollo 11 was not just America's victory, it was humanity's victory. Proof of courage, ingenuity, and unity. The missions that followed expanded our knowledge of the moon. Hundreds of pounds of lunar rock revealed secrets of our closest neighbor. But Apollo 11 remains the crown jewel of the space race, the moment America achieved the impossible. The space race was more than a battle between nations. It was proof of what humanity can achieve when united by vision and determination. Even today, the legacy of Apollo lives on. NASA and private companies now look toward Mars and beyond. The flag on the moon still waves in silence. A reminder that when America sets its sights on the impossible, it makes it real. This is the story of the space race, the story of how America discovered the moon. And it is the story of us all, daring to dream, daring to explore, daring to go where no one has gone before.